Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my TED Talk. Today, I will be speaking to you about my brand new sports academy. I'm a recent college graduate from Jacksonville University with a degree in kinesiology, and over the course of my studies, I've learned a lot about the best way to peak performance levels. So, to begin, introducing my new sports academy. You gotta be quicker than that sports academy. Revolutionary. Now, three of our major focuses are the practice paradigms, the essentials of practice, and mental training. Now, especially hitting on practice paradigms to begin, you have to focus on discovery learning, the dynamic systems theory with constraints-led approaches, and deliberate practice. Now delving into that a little bit deeper, the constraints-led approach, constraints can be anything really, as long as they're affecting the environment around them, and there are physical barriers along with, it can be the rules and instructions of the game, even boundaries of the game, anything really. Now, manipulating those constraints to really peak the performance of the athletes, what you need to focus on. What that allows the athletes is for them to have to find affordances, which is just solutions to movement problems. This really leads us into discovery learning. By applying those constraints, you're better able to have them or help them into this trial and error approach, which leads to more learning. It makes them find optimal strategies, and while skills are not entirely taught, they will be learned within those limits. Finding the best perceptual cues or variables is a real heart of this, the heart and soul. And it makes them find motor responses specific to that environment within those constraints. Deliberate practice. Expertise is really found with 10 years or 10,000 hours, which I calculated it out, it's just under 3 hours per day if you go for those 10 days, or those 10 years and 10,000 hours. Deliberate practice is a deliberate term describing practice activities with specific features, high levels of motivation and effort. It has to be based on the knowledge and characteristics of the performer. So whatever knowledge and behaviors they may have before, it has to work with them, that specific athlete. And that's something we focus on at You've Got to Be Quicker Than That. You need continual feedback, both from the coach and the athlete. Now, a large amount of repetition is used, but there has to be intention, and that intention has to be to improve. This leads us into our 5 essential features of practice, which is all a part of deliberate practice. That is the specific intention to improve and master the skill, strong motivation and effort, individual-based practice and learner control over that practice, effective communication and information, and overlearning with variation. Going into intention. It's essential to the attention process, and it really provides those goals and that motivation to succeed. Experts continually attempt to overcome the next obstacle. They're not looking at how they've done it before. They're looking at how it needs to be done now. They're looking for that next step, that next performance peak. Now, there are 2 types of achievement goals. There are mastery goals, which are essentially just to improve and learn, and there are performance goals, and that's just to be better than others. Now, while both of these can be effective, mastery goals are really what we're looking for our athletes to have, because that leads into a motivational climate. That motivational climate is what drove the best basketball player known worldwide as Michael Jordan to be as successful as he is today, or has been in his whole career. It's necessary to drive strong effort, this motivation. And without maximal effort, maximal performance cannot be achieved or maintained. Now, for learner-based practice, what you want to do is have your athletes tell you all of their characteristics, their flaws, their skills, their attributes, and use this to your advantage in helping coach them from there on out. they can help you find what the optimal practice environment will be. Now, good coaching and what our coaches focus on is putting our athletes within those environments to help them succeed. Now, communication and information, especially between the relationship of the coach and the athlete, is vital. It should be a two-way street, not one talking over the other, not one demanding more than the other. Goals have to be set and ideals need to be maintained. Now, with instruction, often it's centered on the goal of the movement, but that can be confusing. Feedback is a characteristic of both deliberate practice. Now, for overlearning and variation, overlearning is really having them continue with continual practice past the point where they thought that their peak performance level was. Now, this can happen with repetition, but variation is vital as well. It really changes how the nervous system organizes and executes movements, and it's an indicator of high-level improvement and performance. Variation allows for adaptability and flexibility, especially within different types of constraints. For mental training, one of the most essential parts of practice and motor learning, it has to be used with movements being done as well. Now, modeling is one of the most important things for adolescents. So those kids that are watching ESPN, watching Messi if they're trying to learn how to play soccer, very, very important in helping them shape what they want to become. For imagery, it's really just visualization, closing your eyes, calming your senses, and thinking about what it takes to succeed in our movement goals. With that, it should be known that you've got to be quicker than that. Sports Academy is here to train our athletes the best way possible to help them succeed in life and become professional athletes and hopefully the best of all time. Thank you.